What's going on, you guys? Today we're checking out the 2024 Mercedes GLB 250. This is a compact SUV and dealerships are asking around $50,000 for this thing. Let's check it out and see if that's worth it. Let's hop in the front because this is where you want to be. Nice little sound that happens when you hop in here. Mercedes-Benz appears in the infotainment system. The Mercedes-Benz logo will just stay like that until you start it up, and you get the massive Mercedes logo right in the center of your steering wheel here. That looks awesome. Let's go ahead and start it up. My favorite part about all Mercedes that are made more recently is the ambient lighting that you get in here. I just think it looks so cool. So under this hood, by the way, you get a inline 4 single turbo engine, 2 liter inline 4 single turbo, makes 221 horsepower, but because this thing only weighs 3,600 pounds, I mean, it is pretty fast. And watch this, guys. Hey, Mercedes.
How can I help?
Change the color to purple.
Okay, I'm changing the color.
That is absolutely awesome. I love the voice commands in here. I think it might still be listening to me. But first driving impressions in this thing, it is very soft and very comfortable to ride in here. Steering wheel, a lot of space, open space between the spokes, and it is just a very nice wheel to hold. And you do have selectable drive modes in here. So right down here, you'll see a dynamic button. By the way, did I even mention you get carbon fiber on your door panel? In the front seats only, not in the back. Carbon fiber on your dash. I mean, this is a pretty nice SUV. And you do get some storage space over here, 2 cup holders, storage space here, and more storage space. This one's very deep. That is surprising to see. But yeah, there's a button called dynamic, and if you click that, you can switch between comfort, eco, sport, and individual mode if you want to individually configure all your drive modes. And guys, sport is actually pretty fun in this thing. I would imagine that most Mercedes owners are not really looking to, well, SUV Mercedes owners are not looking to drive their things sporty, but this one you can, and it's actually fun. Sure, it only makes 220-ish horsepower, 221, but watch this. I mean, this thing is, I don't want to use the word fast. I'm going to use the word quick for this, though. It is actually a blast to floor this thing. It may partially be because I did not expect this at all when I hopped in this thing, but it actually moves. And you also have auto start stop. As you can see, the RPMs are at 0. If we take our foot off of the brake, it starts back up, and that is one of the most flawless auto start stops that I've ever experienced. Some Mercedes SUVs, cough cough, GLE 350, had a major issue with like a strong jolt when it would start back up, but this one you barely notice the engine turning on and off. That's literally gonna save like 1 cent of fuel every day. I guess efficiency purposes, but it's not that efficient. Hey, Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Change the color to green.
Okay, I'm changing the color.
I mean, that's something you could really do pretty much all day. And we can go to color, and we could select multiple at the same time, or we can choose from the spectrum of colors. That is absolutely awesome. Purple is probably my favorite. And of course, we can go to brightness. And for this drive, let's go ahead and max everything out, and that just looks cool. You even get ambient lighting inside of your air vents. And these air vents are so satisfying to play around with. They're just so smooth. This one has around 800 miles on it, so you definitely hope and expect everything feels flawless in here, and it actually does. We just went over kind of a big bump there, handled it very well. So sport mode is going to make the engine more responsive, hold the RPMs higher. It's going to also stiffen up the steering wheel, and let's jump back over to comfort because it's probably the way you want to drive this thing. I also love the animations you run through in this thing. Individual with the purple, and the purple ambient lighting looks very, very cool. No one does ambient lighting quite like Mercedes. Just one of the most satisfying experiences to sit in this and just look around. Even around the little gauge cluster here. So speaking of which, yeah, you get two pretty much iPads. One's your gauge cluster, one's your infotainment system, and this actually looks just like the 2024 Mustang GT. A lot of cars are starting to do this now, but if I'm not mistaken, Mercedes was one of the first to do this nice continuous dual screen setup here. It's kind of one instrument though, and I like it a lot. Definitely fits the luxury vibe. The seats feel not that nice to me, but the ride quality is just really, really good. We are on a pretty smooth road here, but with that, we are just floating down, staring at purple all around us. Steering wheel, I mean, you'd probably need 2 fingers to turn it. It is a little bit on the stiffer side, but it does feel very nice. The only negative I can even really think of with this thing is, well, 2 things. One is the price. Is this really worth $50,000? We'll touch more on that in a second. But the exterior design for me really just isn't all that good looking. Maybe you think differently. Looks are, of course, always subjective. But the back end of this just looks a little bit strange to me. I am very shocked about how this only weighs 3,600 pounds, though. Makes this quite maneuverable and also a bit faster than you would think. Let's go ahead and put it back into sport here and do another acceleration and hope that there are no officers around us. 4,000 RPM, ready, go. Felt like it actually lost traction there a little bit. I mean, this thing can get a little bit squirrely. That's what makes it so fun. You'd be surprised. You would not expect this from a 220 horsepower SUV, but you could almost drive this thing like a sports car. I think they're lying about the horsepower numbers. I mean, there's absolutely no way this is only 221 horsepower. That would make no sense to me. That is a lot more fun than you'd expect. All right, I got a speeding ticket already. We got to chill out a little bit. And on this steering wheel, nice black accents with your cruise control integrated into there, your ability to answer or decline a call, volume, this nice, you get a bunch of touch pads inside of the steering wheel, which I have always loved the way Mercedes does that, because it is actually a very nice, smooth, and easy to use process. So you can see I'm actually controlling the infotainment system through the touchpad. We can go to the home screen, scroll over to the different applications here. And it is genuinely an awesome, easy thing to use. You wouldn't expect that from like a 2mm diameter touchpad, but it does its job. Also, the gauge cluster in here, I want to keep my arm out of the way because I think the ambient lighting is just so cool to look at. The gauge cluster in here, normally these are configurable, but also, yeah, you're able to see when the last time you took a break was. Here we can see the 960 miles on it. So we last took a break 7 minutes ago. It's pretty nice. It'll help you make sure you're attentive and alert to road conditions. But normally on a lot of Mercedes, you're able to scroll to the left and actually configure the RPM and speedometer in here. This one you're not. So the only configuration that you get in here is the one in the very center. That's fine though. This is, you know, there's more advanced, more luxurious choices out there for a Mercedes sedan or SUV. But this one, just the ambient lighting. I'm sorry, but I freaking love that. And carbon fiber in here feels really good too. Considering this thing can move as quick as it does, I think it's kind of fitting because it gives it that sporty touch to, and you get paddle shifters back here too. So you can almost consider this kind of a sports vehicle, as bizarre as that sounds. Shifts happen very, very fast as well. And if you don't drive it like crazy, you do not feel the shifts happen in this thing at all. Let's just slow down a little bit. I believe we're free of any traffic here. I'll just come to a near stop. Okay, let's accelerate from here. Let's pay attention to that transmission. I'm telling you, it feels like there are no gears in this car. You can hear, of course, the engine sound with it revving up or revving down, but you do not get any feeling of gear changes in this thing. It happens very quick and it's very, very smooth. Of course, the sound of this isn't really that appealing. It's a 4-cylinder with a turbo. But you hear the engine for sure. And it sounds, I guess, well, as good as a 4-cylinder can sound. Jump back over to comfort here. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
Turn on my heated seats.
I'm switching on the seat heating.
So if you don't want to use the calories to reach over and turn on the heated seats yourself, you can just ask Mercedes to. Surprisingly enough, this thing doesn't have cooled seats, ventilated seats. You would expect that, especially considering this thing's $50,000. Let's see if Mercedes can turn those off. Hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Turn off the reading light.
I'm switching off the reading light.
This thing, oh my gosh. It's like you literally have your own personal assistant that can control almost everything about this car by your side 24/7. This is seriously a nice compact SUV to drive. We will really do an in-depth review on the GLE 350 eventually, but I am pretty shocked at how well this thing is put together. No carbon fiber in the GLE 350. Even the ambient lighting in the air vents is probably one of the coolest touches I've seen thus far in any Mercedes that I've been in or reviewed. I've never seen that, and that just gives it such a cool look with the air vents. It's also smart enough to know when you say Mercedes, it doesn't automatically interrupt you. It'll keep on listening to see if it's meant to do a command or not. And of course you can tell it to...
You have not subscribed to this service. To use it, you first have to activate the service in the Mercedes Me app.
Yeah, alright, well, I guess she said, nope, I'm not that special. Okay. It didn't do it any of the other times. I thought it just signed me up for a subscription. I was like, what? But yeah, we've covered just about everything in here. Let's do another color change real quick. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
Change the color to yellow.
Okay, I'm changing the color.
It's probably the main reason why I want to get this thing, just to change the color every 5 seconds to make it feel like a different car again. No one does it quite like Mercedes. So great storage, kind of weird exterior design, a lot more sporty than you would think. It is very, very, very comfortable. Feel minimal bumps, and if you do go over bumps, it handles them very, very well. Let's do another acceleration real quick. Is it in sport mode? Now it is. It puts you back in your seat. All in all, 50 grand, I can see why. It's a bit much, but with the ambient lighting, with the comfort, with the interior materials, with the sportiness this thing does have, kind of makes sense. Let me know what you guys think about this. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!